about being free of all the crazy restrictions and things that seem to hold us down. And I'm not talking about things that we really need to be paying attention to and not doing, but I'm talking about the feeling of freedom when you're doing the right thing and you are making progress in your life. So before we get to that, I will show you my heels for today and we'll be right back. Okay, so here they are. These are just a black pump, and I don't know how high the heel is on that. I don't wear them for a long period of time at work. I tend to do a lot of sitting and then standing and short bursts of walking, so they're not that difficult to wear for a day. But yeah, probably wouldn't wear them if I was standing all day long. And these, I don't have a recollection of exactly why I got them. My husband bought them for me. And I do recall that I have a pair of black patent pumps right here. And he said, well, you need some that are not patent. Because he's just that kind of guy. He always thinks ahead. And he doesn't seem to mind that I have a zillion black shoes because he thinks they all have a different occasion. So I would say he's right about that. So yeah, so those are those pumps. I don't wear them a ton, but I do love them. Okay, so we are back, and I don't know how to tie in this message with these heels, honestly. Maybe it'll come out as I'm talking. But because it's a high heel hallelujah, I was feeling a little bit like I'm being lazy, or I'm just not moving forward in different areas of my life. And I feel like I'm just like, oh, what is it going to take to get me to get some oomph in me again? And it's not like I'm not doing anything. I still work, teach my classes. I'm still doing some writing, but I have this desire to write more for On Fire and doing a program for that. My exercise is still fine. I do what I can after having had my surgery, so I don't do a ton of exercise that is really strenuous, but I also feel like I shouldn't right now. So for me, it's not really hard to get motivated with the way that I do fitness. I always have loved that. My food, okay, I do have to say that I have made some progress. I used to drink a lot of coffee, and I have gradually weaned down to where I'm having mostly decaf. There's just like a little bit of caffeine in it, but I don't drink as much as I used to. So, you know, I guess in some areas you do realize, okay, I have actually made progress, but somehow we always think that we need more. And some of what I have discovered over time is that you don't get free of those things that you feel like you're in bondage to by feeling horrible about yourself. I spent enough years doing that. I could never figure out how to eat right. My stomach always hurt. I was always overeating at night and not eating hardly anything during the day because my stomach would bother me, and it was this vicious cycle, and I was always feeling bad about myself. And really the bottom line was that the only way that I actually started to make progress was when I stopped condemning myself all the time. And I started to listen to what God had to say in His Word, and that Jesus came so that we could be free now, not just when we get to heaven. And these things that feel like chains that we're carrying around all the time, and those are chains of our own making. We have chosen to hold on to those things because Jesus already set us free, and He already put His power in us. So the fact that we're still carrying around these chains means that there's a disconnect between the freedom that we already have and being able to just let go of those things. And I found through time and getting into the Bible that God transforms you, but it's in little steps. And we sometimes want this just huge, miraculous boom, and you've arrived. And He hardly ever works like that. It's in stages, because he wants us to stay closely connected to him. So if I just got the plan, I knew what to do, and I went and did it, then it would all be my glory. It would all be about me. It would all be about my willpower and pat me on the back. I did so well. But instead, it's this little by little by little progress. And you do start to see that, hey, you know what? I am actually making progress, and God is faithful. He continues to remind you of things. You have to do your part. Yes, you have to put in the work. There's Bible verses all about that. That discipline at the time is not something that we enjoy, but it produces this harvest down the road. But we don't get to see the harvest while we're planting the seeds, and that's why we get so frustrated, is we want to see it so fast. And we have to learn how to be patient and each day do a step. And so sometimes when you look at things in your life that you are trying to either get free of, or you're trying to move forward in progress, you just want to hurry up and do it, and do it all at once. And sometimes you have to break it down into steps. So when I study for my board exams, I'm in medicine. When I have to study for my boards, I have all these books, thousands of pages to read. And for me, when I sit down to actually have to work on this, it is completely overwhelming. But when I take it and I break it down into chunks that I can do each day, and I literally take out a calendar and I'll put down pages 1 through 15 of this book and pages 15 of 40 of this book, and I write it in my calendar. When I'm done with that for the day, I just check it off and I'm done. And then the next day, I just check off my next thing and I'm done. Versus having thousands of pages and sitting there going, I don't know what to do. I'm so paralyzed. I take that into my own life as well. So, for instance, with a silly little thing like caffeine, I decided rather than go cold turkey and be a miserable nightmare with everybody around me for weeks, I was going to just gradually taper it down. And that's what I've done. And there were a couple days where it was a little like my head was bothering me, but really it wasn't too horrible. But it took those little breaking down of pieces. And honestly, I really feel like for me, the reason that I even did that was because, I've been praying a lot about various things in my life. And that's just one of the areas that I really felt like I was supposed to start working on. And there's all different kinds of things like that. You will find in your life that you might be trying to make progress in business or something with your health, getting physically exercise or eating healthy. I would challenge you not to take everything on all at once, but to start with something that you can commit to that might take 5 to 15 minutes each day, and check it off your list and be done with it. And don't feel guilty if you're not doing more than that. If you already are doing something, but you really feel like you need to do more, then I would say try to tack on another 5 minutes. So whether it is food prep, so you just need to give yourself a little more time to prepare your food so you're ready for the day, whether it's exercise so that you're going to take a hill instead of just walking flat land for 15 minutes, try adding a hill in, some little tweak that will start to help you make progress. Here's the thing. This verse in the Bible, I never really understood until I got to the other side of feeling like I was carrying chains around all the time. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about you're going to be a slave to something. Either you're going to be a slave to all this rotten garbage that you've been putting up with, dealing with, or doing in your life, or you're going to be a slave to something that is going to bring peace and joy and health and a sense of relief. So you're a slave to one or the other. So you need to choose which one it is that you're going to be a slave to. And I know that that sounds kind of extreme, but a lot of times when people are trying to start eating healthy, for instance, they feel like they're slave to a diet. And honestly, for a while, it's hard. And yes, you do feel like that, but it starts to produce health. when you look at yourself being maybe a slave to fast food or sugar or whatever, it still is a bondage or a chain that you're carrying, and it is producing a lot of mess in your life. So when you kind of think about it that way, and you realize that you're going to be a slave to one or the other, you just get to choose whether you're going to choose death or life. And so then you just take those little steps each day and choose life. Every day, choose life. So that is my message for you today. I know there's so much more that I could say, but I would love to hear from you. So if you have any comments or questions, I would love for you to let me know about that. And until the next episode of High Heel Hallelujah, I thank you for being with me today, and God bless you.